Dawson X with the Shade Detectives here. Welcome. Please like and subscribe as we get into the rest of the tea tonight. God dang it. Now, we are going to be getting back into Beyonce and her drop of the album that's coming out on July 29th. As we've already discussed, Beyonce is dropping Renaissance July the 29th, and everyone is talking about it. Everyone is waiting with bated breath. Everyone is anticipating this new era of Beyonce. Now, she has also recently, well, as of today, dropped information that she will be dropping the first single called Break My Soul, and that will be dropping tonight at midnight. So, everyone is excited about the drop that is on the way. So, in the last video that I posted, we talked about what I do not want from Beyonce and what I really would like to see from Beyonce. There are a lot of things from her previous albums that she has done that I feel I do not want to see repeated as a theme for this album. I also have a lot of different things that I have always loved about Beyonce, and these are elements that she has in a few of her other projects that I would love to see her bring about in this project. So there are things that I want to see Beyonce bring to the table, and there are things that I do not want to see, and that was all shared on the last video. If you just go check it out, it was a list of do's and don'ts for Beyonce's seventh project. As we know, Beyonce is dropping Break My Soul tonight at midnight. It is a very powerful title for a very powerful time. And now everyone is anticipating what Beyonce could possibly be doing for this project. Now, I have my own feelings on what Beyonce is doing for this project. I have done some research and I have found some information that have helped me to draw some conclusions. And so this video, I am going to be giving my take and my prediction on what the seventh album is going to be giving us for the summer, whether it is going to be something that we are asking for or something that we are not asking for. Now, Beyonce is Beyonce, and she can do whatever she wants, and we will eat it up and respect and love whatever she brings to the table. However, there is a certain energy that I would like to see. Now, I've already explained it in the last video through and through. So please just go click on that after you're finished with this video if you haven't already. Now, with all of my desires and everything that I want, I just have to take it to the realization that Beyonce, she does what she wants and she might not give me exactly what it is that I'm asking for and what it is that we as a fandom are asking for. So we have to take that into consideration. We do let her know what we want, but she may have something else up her sleeve. So, what is it that we can expect from this next era of Beyonce? Well, I always like to look at the performances that she has right before she comes back out. So she did this performance at the Oscars for Serena and Venus and their father, and the soundtrack Be Alive is the name of the song. So this was for that soundtrack, that motion picture, The King and I. and she actually did that performance. So I feel like that is a good idea of where Beyonce may be taking us in the next era as far as aesthetics. Now, she's also recently done a Vogue interview with Edward Enninful, who is editor in chief of Vogue magazine. He did a write up on how he felt about the album after he gave it a listen. Here's what he had to say. Quietly, the superstar hits play on her upcoming album. Instantly, a wall of sound hits me. Soaring vocals and fierce beats combine in a split second. I'm transported back to the clubs of my youth. I want to get up and start throwing moves. It's music I love to my core. Music that makes you rise, that turns your mind to cultures and subcultures, to our people past and present. Music that will unite so many on the dance floor. Music that touches your soul. As ever with Beyonce, it's all about the intent. I sit back as each wave hits, absorbing it all. The creation has been a long process, she explains, with the pandemic giving her far longer to spend thinking and rethinking every decision just the way she likes it. So, as we see, I read that article. That is a Vogue article written by Edward Enninful. He did an interview with Beyonce, and in the interview, he basically described his experience of listening to Renisance for the first time. He described it as a wall of sound that hit him, and he said that the sound took him back to the clubs of his youth. Okay. Took him back to the clubs of his youth. Now, this is Edward Enninful. Not right now, because Edward Enninful is 50 years old. Yeah. So this is Edward Enninful in the time of his youth. I don't know if photos were made in color back then. However, it's black and white. So, I mean, if he's 50, does that mean he was born in the 50s? Possibly. Anyway, so he's talking about the clubs of his youth. So if he's 50, the clubs of his youth were about I was not born when he was a youth. So I don't know what that actually means. The clubs of his youth was a lot longer ago. So I don't know if the clubs of his youth has the same sounds as the clubs of the youth today, but I don't think so. So that note right there made me scratch my beard. He's 50 years old. The sounds that are on this album took him back to the clubs of his youth. He also said that it took him to a culture and a subculture, and everything was mixed together, and that it was something for him. So cultural music, clubs of his youth. And so when he talks about clubs of his youth, I also had to look him up. He's from Ghana, but he moved to London when he was like 16. So he's talking about European clubs back then. That's what he's talking about. So does that mean that Beyonce's album is going to sound like European clubs of a 50-year-old man's youth? And then some stuff about subcultures and cultures and every past and present thing put together? Okay. So, and this guy is living in London. He's from London, talking about clubs of his youth when he was 50. That does not sound like it is going to sound like what I am asking for, Beyonce. That doesn't sound like it's going to sound like what I am asking you for. Now, you are my fave. You are my fave. So I have faith that you will do what it is that your fandom wants, but based on the article that I just read, it sounds like you're putting out techno pop music that may sound futuristic and old at the same damn time. Now, Beyonce, that's not what I was asking for. If you go back to my last video of do's and don'ts, I don't think that I added that I didn't want for you to get techno experimental and sound old, but that also counts, baby. So please, I beg of you, do not flop like Kendrick Lamar and like Drake did when it came to a public opinion, when it came to the black audiences. Please do not flop. Please do not drop the ball with that. Now, the article that I read, it also said that you were, still with Jay-Z, and y'all are now going to be going into your next phase of your relationship, and some of your album will pick up from where that part left off. Now, if you're going to be talking about Jay-Z and this album, I just hope that he's not on about 4 or 5 tracks as well. Beyonce, please. My expectations are very high this summer. You're coming into the Leo season. Please bring that fire. Now, I did a review on Drake's album. I did not understand where he was going. Now, it seems as if the Europeans and the Canadians are loving that eating it up like candied corn. Candied corn. And I just want to know if you're going to be dropping this album for the black audience, or if you're going to be dropping it for Edward Enninful's age group so that they could be reminded of the European clubs of their youth. That is not the same thing, baby girl. That is not the same. Tonight will determine a lot. Will Beyonce slay with this first single, or will she veer us off to the left? I am hoping that she snatches my wig, my beard. Okay? I'm hoping she does. Edward Enninful, I don't know what you were talking about. I am not from the clubs of your youth. You're 50 years old. Your youth was in the 60s. Your youth was in the 70s. So if that is where we're going, that's not what I was asking for, Beyonce. But if you are doing something that is going to light this summer up, bring it my way. Beyonce, time will tell. Midnight is on the way. This is Dawson X. I will see you tonight with the Beyonce review. 10-4.